What's going on with y'all? Welcome to HDiiTV. You're now rocking with your boy. What's going on with y'all? What's going on with y'all? What's going on? Now, Vernon Maxwell was on It Is What It Is. They asked him about the Bulls question and stuff, and Vernon basically told the truth in what he said. He believes his Rockets would have beat that Bulls team if they would have played them. And I believe they would have, because they were a bad matchup for the Chicago Bulls, especially the Robert Horry and the Scottie Pippen matchup. Robert used to give Scottie fits. Otis Thorpe and Akeem used to dominate the boards on Horace and Cartwright. The problem with the Rockets, Vernon Maxwell put it out there, we couldn't beat the Sonics. And they couldn't. Like, the Sonics used to beat them. Phoenix used to beat the Sonics. Denver would get the Sonics one time or a couple times, and, you know, that's how it was. That's how it was in the playoffs. It's about matchups, and people never realize that the West has always been tougher than the East. Like, all the time, the West was always tough. The West was always running gun, running pace, moving at a faster pace. The East would be defense, half-court offense. You know, that was the style back then. Now they done changed the style. Now everybody just plays alike. My Orlando Magic are probably one of the few teams who actually play like old school 90s ball with their physicality and how they play defense. So, but Vernon Maxwell was on there and told the truth about they were a bad matchup for Mike and them. They just couldn't beat the Sonics. If they would have beat the Sonics, the Rockets could have had about 3 championships, maybe 4. Because for one, they were deep. They had a bench. Sam Cassell was coming off that bench and giving people problems. Kenny Smith was on a heater at that time as well. Mario Elie was good for them. You know, they had a lot of shooters and they had a lot of players and moving and parts that would have helped them get past the Bulls. Now, Cam and Mace were talking about, well, y'all went 7 with the Knicks. I mean, the Bulls went 7 with the Knicks, I believe, either 6 or 7. The Knicks used to give the Bulls problems. The reason the Knicks couldn't win was they didn't have that guy who could close down the stretch. Like, if they would have been able to get Isaiah Thomas over there, because they were trying to swing a trade to get Isaiah there. If they would have had Isaiah Thomas on the Knicks, they would have beat them. They would have beat the Bulls. Because Isaiah Thomas knows how to scheme a defense in order to stop them. You know, and like Isaiah said, like Scottie emerged, so that kind of gave everybody problems because Scottie now was attacking, being more aggressive. He was able to handle the ball a lot more. He stepped into his role and he did what he was supposed to do. And then Mike would get to his spots a little easier. And then even in games where Mike didn't really shoot well, Mike would get to the free throw line and, you know, he would knock his free throws down. That's what people didn't understand about how Michael Jordan played. You know, people think Mike was just perfect from the field. No, Mike wasn't perfect all the time. Mike's field goal percentages are high because he played within the paint. So that's why I don't judge how great you are of a shooter from the field goal percentages. No. You judge a field goal percentage on the amount of shots they take all the time and how their percentages are. Like, Kobe took a lot of shots. He was a volume scorer. So even if he went like 1 for 9, like even if he went 0 for 8, you know, down the stretch, he would go 1 for 9, like hit the shot to win the game. Like, he would do things of that nature. Like, that's the thing that Kobe would do. You know, like what Sabrina did in that game, from that game 3, where she hit that logo 3 and shit, and she was shooting bad before that, wasn't making nothing. Those were the type of stuff Kobe would do. And then, but what Kobe did differently, Kobe's defense, his defense was incredible. Like, he would shut down the other guy. Like Rajon Rondo said it best, like he would do what he did. He wasn't, you know, everybody got this notion that Kobe didn't pass. Kobe did pass the ball. But I'm not looking for Kobe to pass the damn ball all the time. Kobe, when his shot wasn't good, Kobe would facilitate. What do you think Kobe did in that game against the Blazers? When game 7, the Blazers was up, what, 15 or 18 points with like 3 minutes left or something? Kobe facilitated that whole game down the stretch. And then his defense was even crazier. He would come on the help side and block shots, and then he would bring it up court. And then what did he do to win the game? He threw the alley to Shaq. So it's like, what do y'all talk about? Kobe passed. So that debunks people's notion that he didn't pass the ball. Then he gave the ball to Ron Artest to hit the to put them up by even more, because they were already up by 3. And then they got the rebound. He threw it to Artest. Artest shot the 3 and put them up by 6. So it's like people have this notion of not taking things into context, not looking at the whole situation. The Houston Rockets were very deep, and Hakeem Olajuwon was very hard to beat. Like, he was very hard to go to the post against, you know. But Michael, of course, would believe, man, I'm not losing. And Mike is like, I'm not losing. And that's what I'm saying. Mike could have went to another level if he played Houston. But Houston would have gave him problems, and he probably would have lost the series to them. Because they had enough wings and enough they had enough wings to throw at him, to confuse him and to make it hard for him. Like, Mike was still putting up his numbers, but it wasn't a great efficient night. He was taking extra shots to get to his points. And that's what Vernon Maxwell was talking about. Like, people ask me all the time, man, who you think would have won? Well, if you think about it, during the time that Magic played, that Magic Johnson was playing against Mike, you know, Mike used to play well against Magic and them. He used to play well against the Lakers. You know? But the finals are different. If the Rockets would have matched up with the Bulls, do I think Hakeem does what he does? I think that they would have devised a scheme to try to limit Hakeem's touches. And Mike would have been locked in. But I mean, I feel where Vernon's coming from. Yeah, the Rockets could have beat them. They were probably the only team out west that gave the Bulls problems. Nobody else really gave the Bulls problems. So, yeah, I think the Rockets would have been a bad matchup. Would Michael end the series in 6? No. Michael would have had to go to a game 7 to take out the Rockets if they did play. But it would have been tough, man. I don't know if they would have been able to, in the finals, kind of, you know, do what they do to Mike. Mike was so locked in when the finals came. You know, the Rockets, like, even if you would have put guys in foul trouble, the Rockets would have had somebody come off the bench and do the same thing. The Rockets were a damn near mirror image of the Pistons. The only difference is that they had a better big man than Hakeem. Even though Bill Laimbeer had, I think, more range, but Hakeem was amazing. He was hitting crazy shots. He was doing all type of movements. That's who Kobe, like, him and Kobe are damn near alike. Like, how they played, like their fadeaway, their shots and all of that. Like, and then Hakeem was a very high, like a very good free throw shooter. So you couldn't play the hack and shack on him. then he would have been able to take Luke. He would have been able to take Bill Cartwright out of the low post. Would have been taking him to the high post and dropping him off. So it would have been an interesting play. It would have been interesting. Like I said, I don't have a problem if Bulls fans feel like we would have won, because that's Mike. Mike was the 90s. The 90s was his. You know, Akeem Olajuwon, you would probably say, was the second best player in that decade. But it would have been tough. You know, it would have been tough. Mike just came at the right time. Those 2 years, I don't know if they win those 2 years. They would probably win one of those years, but I don't believe they would have won 8 straight, because that was Bill Russell's record, winning 8 straight finals. They won 8 straight finals, a feat that will never ever be duplicated, because we got free agency. It's a lot of players want to get paid now, so nobody's gonna stay on just one team. You know, this is why I try to tell people, like, you got to look at records like that. People be looking at just the scoring records, individual records. I look at the team records, because that's what it's about. It's about team. You know, it's not about one person putting up all these points and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like Shaq was saying to Kobe, it's not about one guy. But if your guy has to put up these points, they can do it. But see, Kobe could have been broke Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record. But would he have won championships? No. He could have had the stats, but it was like Kobe was about winning. He wasn't about, okay, I'm going to put up these stats this game and that game. You know, that's not him. You know, that's not how he was. To people's popular belief, they think it was. No, if you listen to how Kobe speaks, Kobe rather win. You know, Kobe didn't want to lose, but he'd rather win. But Kobe was always a person wanting to learn, even in a victory or even in a loss. And that's what made Kobe special. That's what made Michael Jordan special, and all the greats. They learned from a loss. Some of them hated a loss more than a win. You know what I'm saying? Like, people just hate to lose. Like, I just don't want to lose. You know what I'm saying? It's like you go to these seminars or these job interviews, they be asking you, like, would you rather win or would you rather lose? I'd be like, would you rather shut the hell up and just give me the damn job? Shit. What that got to do with doing the job? Like, they be asking you all these damn crazy psychological questions that just be dumb as hell. You know, and it's a lot of people like that. But what Vernon said, I didn't disagree with. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really believe Vernon, like Vernon told him, Vernon and Kenny Smith felt like, yeah, we would have beat them. And I believe they would have. You know, because they could have beat them, because they had a 3-guard rotation. They had a 3-guard rotation. Not only did they have a 3-guard rotation, you know, they had shooters everywhere. And plus, Robert Horry against Scottie Pippen, Robert Horry would have destroyed Scottie. He would have destroyed him. You know, that's just facts. Otis Thorpe down low, man, would have been problems. The Bulls wouldn't have been able to control the boards. That would have been their problem. But I got to get up out of here, guys. Like I said, I'm going to be on Auntie Says Talk Sports shows Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you guys come out there. You know, I'm out. Dizzy.